In this video, we will explore food, both good and bad, consumed by your favourite top footballers. While adhering to a strict balanced diet is needed for footballers to maintain the peak physical condition needed to play 90 minutes of football, they are humans as well, and like the rest of us, also grapple with the occasional or constant cravings for unhealthy junk food and sugary sweets. Whether this is due to youthful ignorance or flat-out negligence or resistance to authority, we get a glimpse into how the dedication of a footballer is constantly tested on a regular basis when it comes to deciding what they put into their bodies. Make sure to watch until the end, as we will take a look at footballers you are familiar with and the battles they have had with food, as well as some managers who try to impose their will on their players, like your parents or a spouse trying to get you to eat your fruits and vegetables. Let's take a look. When Cristiano Ronaldo was sporting Lisbon's youth academy, money was scarce for the 12-year-old youngster. He recalled the days back then when he used to go with his teammates up to a McDonald's nearby and would ask for leftover hamburgers. Ronaldo said in a recent interview, "Late at night, around 10:30 or 11, we would get a little hungry. So we had a McDonald's next to the stadium where we lived, and we would always go to the back door and knock on the door and ask, 'Do you have any hamburgers left?'" Now, Ronaldo was a hungry young boy back then, so we will let it slide when it comes to his cravings for the Big Macs. You might be surprised to know that his love for the Golden Arches lasted even after he became a top-level player. Ronaldo's penchant for the late-night stops at McDonald's continued into his early days at Manchester United. Wayne Rooney, who played with Ronaldo for many years, said that in his early years at Man United, he was responsible for driving Ronaldo around, and one of their favourite stops was for fast food. Rooney said, "I remember the night before a game stopping off at a McDonald's because he wanted a Big Mac. He was trying to put weight on because he was so thin. I was driving the car, having to go through the drive-thru to get him a Big Mac." As Ronaldo went on in his career, he started making far better choices and was much more careful about what he put into his body. Retired French midfielder Patrice Evra played 3 seasons with Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United and recalled a time he had lunch with the Portuguese star one time, labelling it as boring. "When he invited me for lunch, don't ever go for lunch, because you are going to have one of the most boring lunches at Cristiano's. It's salad, plain chicken, and water, not even fizzy water. Going to his house for lunch is like another training session." Ronaldo's daily diet typically consists of something along the lines of the following. He mainly eats 6 small-sized meals a day. If you want a body like Ronaldo's, listen up. For breakfast, he will eat cheese, ham, low-fat yogurt, fruit, and avocado toast. For brunch, he will have chicken and salad. Lunch will consist of tuna, olives, tomato, and eggs. For a post-lunch midday snack, Ronaldo will eat fruit and avocado toast. Supper will be fresh fish of some sort, whether it be sea bass, swordfish, sea bream, or cod. And for the last meal of the day, he may have some calamari. Now, if we talk about Ronaldo, you know we can't leave out Lionel Messi. When Messi was a youngster, he ate a diet that was primarily meat-centered, and he had a soda addiction that he himself admitted to. In an interview a few years back, Messi said, "I ate badly for many years. Chocolates, fizzy drinks, and everything. That's what made me throw up during games." But when Pep Guardiola became the manager of Barcelona in 2008, he encouraged the Argentine to eat more fish and vegetables, drop the soda, and to round out his diet a little more. This had a positive effect on the young Messi, who was somewhat injury-prone prior to Guardiola's arrival. Gone were the muscular injuries he sometimes fell victim to, and he would go on to become the superstar we now know him to be. Messi said, "Now I look after myself better. I eat fish, meat, and salads. Now everything is organised and taken care of." Cristiano Ronaldo's love for McDonald's in his early days doesn't seem to be the only example of footballers and their cravings for Big Macs and fries. Fabio Capello, the Italian manager who was in charge of the England national team from 2007 to 2012, was known to be a disciplinarian who imposed strict rules on all teams that he managed. To the dismay of the England players, he installed a no butter rule while having breakfast. Defender Rio Ferdinand, who always had butter with his breakfast, was one of the players who took exception to this and approached both Capello and the kitchen staff to have this rule done away with no success. There were also other restrictions and changes regarding food, which left the players baffled and in dismay. Ferdinand said in one interview that the food situation became so dire and so horrible that he and other players such as John Terry, Ashley Cole, Steven Gerrard and Jamie Carragher secretly had McDonald's delivered to one of the hotels the national team was staying at. And, in his words, was sitting there like scavengers eating all the food. A number of English clubs back in the 1990s had a notorious drinking and junk food culture back then, and Arsenal was no different. Captain Tony Adams was known for organising a team outing called the Tuesday Club, in which a bunch of the team's regulars would head out for a night of heavy drinking on the town, all in the name of team bonding. Yeah, right. And what did they have for pre-game meals? Burgers, chips, pie and chocolate. Seriously. So when Arsene Wenger took over the reins at Highbury in 1996, after a year-and-a-half spell in Japan, the Frenchman was ready to roll up his sleeves and make some massive changes to the stuff that the players put into their bodies. Gone were the drinking sessions and the alcohol from the players' lounge, as well as the pre-game chips and pies and chocolate. At halftime of one game, Wenger approached his physio and asked, "What is wrong with the players? Why is everyone quiet?" And the physio responded, "They're hungry, I didn't give them their pre-game chocolate." You may remember one famous band once eloquently asking, "How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?" Well, first of all, under Wenger, you won't be having any pudding to begin with. And the meat, well, you'll only be eating chicken and definitely not red meat. But the irony of all this is that the nutritional overhaul that Wenger brought into Arsenal, and that the players absolutely hated at first, ended up helping them in the long run and became something groundbreaking in English football. Players were in better condition and played better, and Arsenal went on to make history under Wenger. Also, the diet and the nutrition eventually permeated its way around the rest of the Premier League and is now considered the standard practiced by virtually every club. After legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson retired from his managerial position at Manchester United in 2013, fellow Scottishman David Moyes was handed the unenviable task of assuming the reins at Old Trafford. Man United floundered during Moyes' time in charge, and he was let go before the end of the 2013-2014 season, his one and only season in charge of the Red Devils. One of the things Moyes did during the season that really rubbed the players the wrong way was getting rid of fish fingers, chips and mushy peas from the cafeteria menu, calling it kids' food. Now, the dish was not only a favourite amongst the players, Sir Alex was also a big fan of it. You can probably imagine how the decision went down with everyone at the organisation. Sure enough, once Moyes was let go, interim manager Ryan Giggs put it back on the menu, much to the delight of many at the club. Did you know that both the Argentina and Uruguay national teams shipped a whopping £2,000 worth of meat each to Qatar in preparation for the World Cup in 2022? That's right, £2,000 each. Both Argentina and Uruguay are two of the largest consumers of meat in the world, and asado, which basically are different cuts of meat such as beef, chicken and pork, as well as sausages and chorizos cooked on a grill, is very popular. Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni claimed that it was very important to be able to enjoy asado, being so far away from home in Qatar, and that it created an opportunity to foster some team bonding in the process. My favourite food is asado, but it is more than that. It creates an atmosphere of union and collective chemistry. It is during that time that we get to talk, laugh, relax and connect. It is not necessarily about the meat, although we love it. It is to be part of the group and the connection that it generates. Hey, they ended up winning the World Cup that tournament, so we are guessing it was worth the effort. If there is one footballer who has openly admitted to letting himself go in terms of diet and not watching what he puts into his body, it is former Italian midfielder Antonio Cassano. In a recent interview, Cassano claimed that when he played for the Spanish giants Real Madrid, he gained 14 kilograms in 7 months by eating Nutella straight out of the jar. Now, for our American friends, 14 kilograms is about 25 pounds. And for those who do not know, Nutella is a sweetened hazelnut cocoa spread made by an Italian company. Cassano explained that Nutella was one of the sponsors of Real Madrid at that time, and each month they would give them jars of the stuff. And Cassano went to town with the Nutella. We wonder what Arsene Wenger would think of this. Claudio Ranieri is a now retired Italian football manager who managed that Leicester City team that shocked the football world by winning the Premier League in the 2015-2016 season. He was also well known as a player's manager in the sense that if the players did what he asked of them, he would meet them halfway and do something to reward them or show them his appreciation. A good example of that came early in that championship season for Leicester City, when Ranieri promised to his players that if they kept a clean sheet, that he would take the entire squad out for pizza. Ranieri kept that promise and was good on his word when Leicester City beat Crystal Palace 1-0. Ranieri took his players out for pizza, but there was a catch. The players first had to make the pizza themselves before they could enjoy them. It ended up being an incredible experience for everyone, with Ranieri saying, "I think they deserve this pizza and today we will eat. It's good to stay together for something good. I also think this could help to make a very good spirit for each other. I hope they will enjoy it today." And of course, Leicester City went on to make not only pizza that season, but also some very cool and amazing history as well.